Matthew 26, the religious elite are plotting to have Jesus killed. Before the Passover feast, Jesus is anointed with expensive perfume by a woman in Bethany. The disciples see this as a wasteful injustice. This perfume is worth more than a year's wages. Why should their rabbi accept luxuries while there are poor people suffering? The disciples are missing the big picture. After 3 years of serving with Jesus, they see the physical side of his ministry, healing the sick and feeding the poor, yet still miss the gospel. They fail to see that Jesus is Lord, that he is God incarnate, and that he came to fulfill the law by living a perfect life and by dying in our place for our sins. No one misses this more than Judas Iscariot. He is more concerned about material things and fails to see the real reason why Jesus came. So what can we take away from this? If all we do as Christians is meet the physical needs of others, are we really understanding the gospel? The gospel is more than meeting people's physical needs. In his book, The King Jesus Gospel, author Scott McKnight describes the gospel as a proclamation that Jesus died, was buried, was resurrected from the dead, and will come again, fulfilling the story of Israel. As Christians, we cannot lose sight of the gospel. We are not at the center of the gospel. Jesus, the Messiah, is at the center of the gospel. Jesus is Lord, and he came both to point us to God's kingdom and ultimately to reconcile us with God by dying in our place for our sins. However, like the disciples, we can focus on good things and still miss who Jesus is and why Jesus came. So as we approach Easter, let us focus on Jesus, the true center of the gospel, and strive to become more like the woman who recognizes her need for the gospel.